Uncomfortable?
Actually, I'll let him know.
No, job.
That was
okay.
Really, that was one of the most
voters in Georgia's
interesting
6th
quotes, Willie, I think I've
congressional
ever
district.
heard in my life. That quote,
the Gettysburg Address quote.
No, come on,
if
guys.
that's what you want to call it.
We got to do the news.
Okay.
Voters in Georgia's 6th congressional district head to the polls this morning to cast their vote in a special election that is becoming a referendum on President Trump.
You did that extraordinarily well.
Thank you. NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Casey Hunt.
Didn't she do that extraordinarily well?
I'd get up early to watch it.
I used to stay up and watch movies late at night. This is worth.
Yeah, you go to bed early and wake up early.
Watch that. Casey Hunt's been on the ground in Georgia for the past few days, but you do it better. So you toss to Casey.
Casey, set the scene for us.
I'm going to
take it away, Casey.
Have some eggs.
It's very nice to see both of you this morning. We are down here in suburban Atlanta, which frankly nobody expected to be the first major battleground for Democrats as they try to take on President Trump. It's a huge field. There are 18 candidates, 11 Republicans, 5 Democrats. And one of those Democrats is closer to getting 50% and winning this race outright than anybody ever expected.
Little boxes on the hillside, little boxes made of ticky-tacky, little boxes on the hillside, little boxes on...
He grew up in this district's sleepy suburbs, a soft-spoken, wonky millennial. But in the age of Trump, Georgia congressional candidate Jon Ossoff has become the face of the resistance, taking on the president Democrats loathe.
This is the first chance in the country to stand up and make a statement.
More than $8.3 million has poured in from all over the country. Dozens of volunteers have flown from as far as Berkeley, California to help.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How y'all doing?
Samuel L. Jackson cut an ad for him.
We have to channel the great vengeance and furious anger we have for this administration into votes.
And President Trump is attacking him.
Ossoff will raise your taxes, destroy your health care, and flood our country with illegal immigrants.
All over just one seat in the House, the special election to replace Tom Price, now President Trump's HHS secretary.
Do you feel like you've become the vessel for the hopes and dreams of Democrats all over the country who can't stand Donald Trump?
Well, this thing has taken on a little bit of a life of its own over the last few months. But all politics is local.
Ossoff comes across as an unlikely hero, mocked in an attack ad for dressing up as Han Solo in college.
I'm Han Solo, Captain of the Millennium Falcon.
Did Han Solo shoot first?
Now he's carefully scripted.
Sounds like you're running against Donald Trump.
Well, there are many in the community here who have concerns about the direction of things in Washington right now, and I am among them.
Ossoff needs 50% of the vote today to avoid a June runoff with one of the other 17 candidates in the race.
It's going to be very close. I can beat Jon Ossoff.
Former Georgia Secretary of State Karen Handel is the leading Republican.
National Democrats seem to have pinned their hopes and dreams on this district. Is that how it feels here every day as you campaign?
I think so. They're going to be disappointed, I think.
But Ossoff's rise took national Republicans by surprise. This is Newt Gingrich's old seat.
Howdy, I'm Newt Gingrich. How you doing? Good to see you. I would ask y'all to consider voting for me next Tuesday.
And in 2016, Tom Price won re-election by more than 20 points. But President Trump barely beat Hillary Clinton here, falling behind with some college-educated Republicans who are opposing him again.
This time I voted for Jon Ossoff. There's a little bit of a message being sent by me and others, no question about that. But I also do think there needs to be sort of a check on Donald Trump.
Democrats hoping the district and the country will follow.
So a couple of questions as we head into today. First, it seems like here on the ground that Ossoff may have overplayed his hand a little bit. There's a sense that this race has kind of gotten out of the borders of the district. And as you know pretty well, Joe, if you get too far from home, that can be dangerous. So there's a sense that may have damaged his chances of getting to 50% here. But I will say you can feel the energy around Ossoff here on the ground. The campaign offices we went to yesterday were packed. They were towing cars out of the parking lot. We went to a couple Republican events that were pretty sparsely attended. It is very clear there's a lot of energy around him. I think the question going forward, what does this mean in the broader context? Do Democrats actually have a real chance at taking back the House in 2018? There's some things unique to this district that Republicans, frankly, should have picked up on and thought, okay, they might actually have a referendum on Donald Trump here. But I also think Mark's right. If Ossoff can crack 50%, it would be a very big deal, and I think make a lot of Republicans in Washington very nervous.
All right, Casey Hahn, thank you. Great job.
This is like an all or nothing. I mean, you think about this. Donald Trump, if Republicans lose,
yeah,
it's terrible for Donald Trump. If Democrats lose, then this is a seat that Donald Trump only won by 1 point. So this would be Democrats made absolutely no progress. And Willie, it reminds me, of course, and I know it reminds you, the same thing. We were at Yonkers Raceway, '04, right?
Yeah.
Dog track.
And we were down for the day, and we had to put all of our money in the last race.
On the Trotters.
On Santa's Little Helper's Helper. And if we had lost that day,
Stupid.
Yeah.
well, I mean, we had no stories.
Pushed it all
We
in.
had pushed it all
There's some
in.
guys waiting for us in the parking lot if we lost. It wasn't going to be good.
There wasn't going to be a meeting across the river. We weren't going to get there.
You know what?
But
you made the
this
right.
is all or nothing.
It's fascinating because it is such a Republican district. As Casey said in the piece, it was Newt's old
Casey
seat going
is
back
so
40
good.
years. But Mitt Romney won by 23, 24 points. This is a district that doesn't love Donald Trump. He only won by 1 point in a district where presidential candidates, Republicans there, win by 20 points. So yes, it's a big deal if he loses, but I don't think it'll be a huge shocker. It's not like they love Donald Trump in that county to begin with.
Remember Casey's States of Play?
Oh my
I'm
God.
just telling you, she's like the political reporter
She's
to watch.
amazing. She's amazing.
Casey Hunt, she's great.
Casey Hunt.
I agree with that. I want to
So
say
good.
again, but you're the best.
No.
Seriously,
Stop. Oh my God,
people wake
stop.
up. No, you're the absolute best. You know you are. But Mark Halperin, we can't explain this away. It's a long story, folks. But Mark Halperin, if I'm a political reporter and I see that Republicans end up winning this seat, that he doesn't get 50% here and he loses in the runoff, there is only one way to score this as a massive Democratic loss in a district that Trump only won by 1 point. That means you have not made 1 percentage point of progress through all the chaos of the first 100 days. So it's a huge win for Democrats or a huge loss. Same with Republicans, a huge win or a huge loss. There is no middle ground here.
Let's make clear, tonight, there's only 2 possible outcomes. The guy wins at a runoff, which would be huge and not overinterpreted. It'd be huge.
If the guy gets over 50, that is massive.
But
tonight.
no Republican's going to get over 50.
No.
So the best Republicans can do is force a runoff. And if they do, we're going to have between now and June the test of exactly what you're talking about, which is this guy who's, as Casey's piece makes clear, he's a strong candidate. He's raised a ton of money. But he's the resistance is then going to have to keep flooding into this district and try to win it. And they'll face a potential backlash again, as she said, of outside money coming in. But this is the test. There's not another election anytime soon that will be seen, rightly so, as a huge test. If they can't win in this highly educated district around Atlanta, then Democrats are even with Donald Trump's numbers the way they are, they're just not surging the way they need to.
And I will say, and we've got to say it right now, and I heard from a lot of Democratic leaders yesterday, the Democratic Party failed. They failed in the lead up to this. There are all the people marching in the streets. There's not a ground game here like you would expect. I've got to say, even his office, when they were interviewing him, that didn't even look as bustling. This should look like a presidential campaign. This is huge for Democrats. Why they haven't marshaled the resources and had people flooded in there knocking on doors.
Clearly talented.
They've got a lot there. Guys raised a lot.
The ground, he's raised money from outside the district. You win in these special elections by knocking on doors, dragging people out of their homes, putting them in cars, driving them there. And I'm telling you, I've talked to a lot of people on the ground, Democrats, who say their party's not done what they expected. By the way, speaking of elections in June, Theresa May has called for a surprise election on June the 8th to seek support for her Brexit move. So.
Okay, ahead in our 7 o'clock hour, we'll bring in the Washington Post Robert Costa with his reporting on the Atlanta story ahead. He's correctly predicted every presidential election since 1984. Now he's predicting President Trump will be impeached. Author and historian Alan Lichtman joins us ahead. Plus,
thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.